You're watching KWQC TV, the news leader, making a difference in the Quad Cities. Live from the Quad Cities, with Morgan Otier and Kyle Keel, this is Quad Cities Live.
Today on QCL, amplifying the voices of survivors and providing a platform to raise awareness. It is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and Family Resources will join us with ways we can show our support.
Get to know the latest artist showcasing the beauty of life at the Figge Art Museum. We'll learn more about the inspiration behind her work as well as her creative process.
And a local financial institution is celebrating 90 years of business with 90 acts of kindness. We'll learn more about this gift to the community.
Welcome to Quad Cities Live. It is Thursday, April 3rd. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Kyle Keel.
I'm Morgan Otier. 2 states, 1 race. We are talking about the city's Spring Classic today. It is just over 2 weeks away.
And this year there is a new race route along with some other fun additions. So joining us now with everything you need to know about the race is one of the race directors, Brian Dorfeld, along with Katie Lagomarsino Hilton. Katie and Brian, thank you both for being here. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so Katie, Lagomarsino's has been obviously a staple for more than 100 years. You were on the show a couple of weeks ago talking about, you know, your big Made in Illinois thing, which we didn't make it past the Elite Eight, but I mean, your family's still going to the mansion, so congrats on that.
Very honored,
But you're taking part in this race, and you've taken part in 5Ks in the past, especially the Coco Beano. That comes to mind. That was always a fun race. So why did you want to get involved with this new race?
So we're really excited to be part of a 5K again, and you know, going to a great organization, Empower Abilities, is amazing, and we just love being part of community events. And when we were approached by this, we're like, yeah, bring it on. So I mean, if we can help local people, that is one of our goals as Lagomarsino. So
just being right there in the community. And Brian, this is a community event. It has been every year, but it has evolved over the past several years. So kind of just take us through how we got to where we are now for this race.
Yeah, so like she said, Lagomarsino's has been a part of a lot of community events, and they've been a part of what was the Easter egg scramble for a long time down the East Village, a race that my team and I took over in 2021. We've tried doing some rebranding, some relocations to kind of make it work for financials and for the city works and all that stuff, because things are getting more expensive these days. And Lagomarsino's every year is just like, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. And this year we have kind of found a really cool race route in downtown Moline, which obviously they have a East Village and a Moline location, so it's going to give them good exposure, and they were just really eager to jump on to be our feature sponsor this year. So
yes, let's talk a little bit more about that route. We were talking before the show. This is going to be kind of an easier route. It's not going to be too hilly. So we're talking 2 states for the race.
Yeah, 2 states. So big shout out to Jesse, my other co-race director. We were just kind of sitting, we made a little pivot last year in 2024, and just wasn't really our brand, and just thinking of a new race route and kind of hitting up other Parks and Rec people, and we came across downtown Moline and utilizing the I-74 bridge.
Beautiful,
so there's me
look at you.
freezing.
Going along the route, love
so
it.
You'll start in downtown Moline, you'll make your way onto the bike path, you make your way across the bridge. Praying for good weather. But like you said, if you've ever ran the Easter egg scramble in the past, is a very hilly race. Obviously the 74 bridge is a little bit inclined, but I've ran the route many times, and it's very fun, it's very fast, it's very scenic, and it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, it looks like a great time. And I love that you recorded a video so everybody can see exactly what they're getting
That's what we like to do. We like to answer all questions visually.
It's not as hilly as the Village of East Davenport, but the I-74 bridge is a little bit of a hill, but at least you get to come down again.
You got other things to look at.
Yes, there's a lot to look at. Beautiful view.
We're going to have a lot of hype people up there cheering you on.
Awesome.
So,
and there is going to be a lot going on in the morning before the 5K and after the 5K. So before we get to all of the races that lead up to the 5K, let's talk about the post-race party and everything that's going to be happening there.
Oh yeah, the fun part. So they have, you know, they have planned and they have conquered many good things. So there's going to be a food truck there that's going to be handing out free pancakes, but also a lot of other breakfast items that you can purchase. They have this really cool like bubble area for the kids, so it's super family friendly, but
perfect.
Also bring out your friends and have a good time. Pub 1848 will be there selling some drinks. So It will be like a good party. There will be the Easter Bunny and tons of photo opportunities. Lagomorcinos will also be there, and we'll be selling some last-minute Easter things since Easter's the next day. So
that is perfect.
Ooh, I just had
it's a chance to see the Easter Bunny.
Just had too much of a chocolate egg last night.
Already?
Already.
One
Oh
bite
yeah,
too many.
Katie gifted me that last time I was there, and I remember I had it, and I'm like, I'm gonna have just a couple bites. I didn't take just.
You get all the good live shots.
I do. So Brian, a lot of us register the race, not only to race, but it's all about the T-shirts as well. So if we want to get a T-shirt, we have to sign up here pretty quick.
Yeah, so April 11th is our T-shirt cutoff, and another way to give back to Empowering Abilities. If you're like, hey, you know what, running's not really my thing, the T-shirts are made in-house at Empowering Abilities, so the proceeds of those shirts go to them as well. They are. Yeah. And I will tell you, if you know the Zombie Run, you know the Spring Classic, we buy really nice shirts, good quality stuff. So there is a shirt-only option on there, but if you want to register for the race and secure your size for the race, April 11th is the cutoff so that we have enough time to print those.
All right,
so.
perfect. And before the 5K, as we alluded to, there's a lot going on as well. There's plenty for the kids to do. They can actually get involved in some racing themselves.
Yep.
So that's the bunny hop.
Yeah, so we've got a quarter mile, half mile. Every kid is going to get some bubbles. They're going to get some bunny ears. They're going to get some chocolate from Lagomorcinos.
Yeah.
We'll have games on that Bass Street Landing area. As well as she said that all the 5K participants will also, on top of their T-shirt, they'll also get a chocolate goodie from Lagos.
And Empowering Abilities, they're going to get a chance as well.
Yes.
To,
so at 9:40, we'll do a 100-meter Empowering Abilities dash. So anyone with disabilities, handicaps, if they want to jump in and do their own race, we'll get those nice hyped up with all the people that are participating in the 5K. They can cheer them on.
Wonderful.
We did that last year, even though it was super windy. They had a really good time. So.
All right, well, perfect.
All right, so sign up for that race coming up just ahead of Easter. Well, just ahead on the show, celebrating 90 years of business with 90 acts of kindness. RIA Federal Credit Union joins us next with details on their gifts to the community.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
RIA Federal. They're just so excited to talk about this. RIA Federal Credit Union is celebrating its 90th anniversary, so yes, very exciting.
Yeah.
But instead of throwing a party, the organization is volunteering. They're cleaning up the community and hosting donation drives.
Yes, it is all part of RIA's 90 Years, 90 Acts initiative. Joining us with the details is Steve Ducey, RIA's Chief Experience Officer, along with President and CEO Jim Watts. We've already been having fun with these guys here today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting us out.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so let's start with just that. Steve, the 90 Years, 90 Acts initiative. Tell us all about it. Where did this idea come from?
Yeah, so Jim and I were sitting around having a conversation and thought, hey, it's our 90th birthday coming up next year. What do we want to do? We thought, we have 40,000 people that bank with us.
Wow.
And we could get a slice of cake, but that's a lot of cake. And so we thought, what better to do as a nonprofit in our community that loves to serve our community is to give back to our community with 90 acts of kindness throughout the course of the year. And so that's what we decided to do.
All right, so what are some of the most impactful things that you're going to be doing for the community that you have planned here throughout the year?
I like to look at it as micro things versus big events and big initiatives. And we do have some big initiatives. We do a lot with the Honor Flight, which is a great organization in our community. And we have a big event coming up with them here soon with a golf outing that we help support them with, the RIA Federal Golf Outing. But then it's the small things throughout the course of the year of sending letters to nursing homes and things like that.
Yeah, very cool. So let's talk about the community impact and just highlight a few of those long-standing partnerships with different organizations. Jim, I mean, there's been a lot of support, and I'm sure that's really evolved over the past 9 decades.
Yeah, well, and the community, it's this community, and we're active in the Tomah, Wisconsin community as well, and we're in a couple of other communities throughout Illinois and Wisconsin. But this is our home base. This is where we started 90 years ago. Some of the big initiatives, Steve mentioned the RIA Golf Outing. We host our own charitable golf outing. We give all the proceeds to the Honor Flight. We're also very involved with the Heart Association and the Heart Walk that we do every year with the Riverbend Food Bank. We spend a lot of time, money, effort supporting that charity as well. So,
That is huge, yeah.
Yeah, and I like how you mentioned, it's going to be these little events throughout the year, but a little really can add up.
They add
A little
up.
can go a long way. So how do you measure the impacts of these events throughout the community?
Yeah, I think that's a really difficult question to answer. I don't think we're in it necessarily for what's the measurement, right?
Sure.
We're in banking. We measure everything
Right.
every single
Except
day.
this, right?
That's truly how that works. But for
Yeah.
this, it's about feel good, and it goes back to our roots. Why are we here? What is a not-for-profit financial institution, and how do we give back to those communities that we serve? And there's so many of them, and there's so many things that we can do from a small standpoint, and it's making that community feel good. If that community thrives, then as an organization, we certainly do as well, but it's more about what's the right thing to do.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's how we approach business in general, and that's why we're doing it this year.
Very cool. Well, RIA, it has an overwhelming amount of employee involvement. So how do you encourage different employees to get involved in different initiatives like this and volunteer their time?
Yeah, good question, Mark. One of the things we do is we have an employee give back day. So there's a paid time off day that employees can take the day off if they want to go and donate their time or their effort to one of these charities. And in addition to that, we have contests throughout the company where we talk about, we may have a different physical fitness challenge, and that'll relate back to one of the charities where we gather money and donate it.
That's great.
Relate to that, yeah.
Yeah, that would be something great to take advantage of as an employee.
Yeah, can you share any personal stories of employees who've participated in this initiative?
Well, certainly not either of us.
You guys were just talking earlier about that 5K coming up, and we actually have employees that we've registered for various 5Ks, and that's one we're going to have to figure out how to be a part of as well.
That's great.
I think that's terrific. We'd love to be a part of that, but we've had staff sign up and be a part of those sorts of events, and just a variety of things. And we've got a culture club internally, and they focus on how do we continue to grow happy, healthy people in the work environment. And they've really tapped into this 90 acts of kindness, and they really want to do things like paint rocks and spread those out, throughout the community and different things like that. So again, it's the small things that I think we're really focusing on. So.
Yeah, that's great. As we've mentioned, RIA has been around for 90 years now, if you can wrap your head around that. Just, Jim, before we run out of time with you today, talk a little bit about how this organization has evolved, but stayed true to its roots, to its history.
Certainly. So we were founded on the Rock Island Arsenal, originally as the RIA Police and Firemen's Credit Union. That quickly changed to encompass everybody in the Arsenal, and that quickly changed again to encompass everybody in the Quad City area. So where we are today, headquartered in Bettendorf, Iowa, and with presence throughout Wilton, Iowa, Savannah, Illinois, up in Tomah, Wisconsin, and the giving back, or the how do we improve people's lives, how do we make this community one where we want to work, where we want to raise a family. That's really who we are. It's part of our DNA, and that's why we talk about it, and that's why we're doing this 90-day random act of kindness.
Wonderful.
Yeah, you guys are certainly making a difference in our community. You've done it for the last 90 years, and you'll do it for the next 90 years and beyond. So you can learn more about RIA's commitment to the community by visiting them online at RIAFCU.com. We got it right there on the screen. We'll have it on the website in case you couldn't follow my letters there. Steve and Jim, thank you so much, and again, congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
On 90 years.
Definitely.
Thank
you very much.
Wonderful. Still to come on Quad Cities Live, ways to support survivors and spread awareness. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and Family Resources will join us with details on some upcoming events and initiatives.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. It is a time to amplify the voices of survivors and provide communities with resources to raise awareness, teaching people about sexual assault and abuse through events and other forms of outreach. Christina and Cassie are here from Family Resources. They are helping us navigate what is sometimes a difficult topic. Christina, thank you for being here. Cassie, welcome back to the show. Thanks for being here today. So you both work very closely with survivors of sexual assault and sexual sexual abuse. This is really something that you have dealt with for a very long time. Cassie, can you talk a little bit more about the history of this Awareness Month and why it's so important that we continue to recognize it?
Yeah, absolutely. It did originate in the 70s, back when survivors really started speaking out against sexual assault, pushing back through rallies, pushing back through public forums. And this was really important because voices weren't heard. You know, things kept continuing to happen without change. So women and other people who experienced assault started to demand change. And it's because of that movement, through their efforts, that we're able to continue our work and able to build off of that platform that they gave us.
Wonderful. Well, Christina, there's a theme for Sexual Assault Awareness Month for 2025. Together we act, united we change. Can you talk a little bit about that theme and what that means to you all who work so closely in this department?
Sure. So it is about, if we work together, we can hopefully bring more awareness about sexual assault, harassment, and abuse.
Absolutely. So Cassie, sexual violence, as we've learned on the times that Family Resources has visited us in the past, it can affect anybody. I think a lot of people would be surprised to, you know, to see all the people that it really does happen to. So talk a little bit about how we can help prevent sexual assault. What are some things that we can be doing?
It's not an isolated issue, and it's not a one problem fix kind of solution, but it is something that we can continue to recognize that anyone can be a survivor. It doesn't matter the race, the gender, the background of the person. It can affect anyone, and what they really need to know in that moment is, I believe you, I'm here for you. Like asking, what can I do to help you? What do you need from me at this time? Just reiterating your belief in them and your support in them, and then offering resources is really what's going to be needed in that moment.
Okay, so definitely about support. And while we're on the subject, can you tell us a little bit about the services that are available at Family Resources, especially when it's, you know, a sexual assault or sexual abuse?
Yeah, absolutely. We offer many services, and we offer free ones for people who are going through sexual assault, and it could be legal advocacy, it could be medical advocacy within the hospital setting, it could be free counseling, which is what I provide, or advocacy such as food, clothing, shelter. It's really depending on the situation. We're there as a support to direct them in the resources that they need.
Okay, well, there are tons of events and initiatives throughout the month of April that you guys are involved in. It really, it blows my mind every year, you know, how much you guys take on to try and raise awareness throughout the Quad Cities community. So Address Doesn't Mean Yes Day. That one's coming up on April 15th.
Yes.
Tell us about that. What should we do on that day?
It's really just a passive protest in stating that address is not consent, because there have been cases in the past where articles of clothing, like a short dress, was used as an argument that consent was given. And it's really just stating the fact that clothing, a dress, it doesn't mean yes. Consent is needed regardless of what you're wearing.
Absolutely. And we have those events on your screen right now, anybody who's watching us on air. Christina, Denim Day, April 23rd. Give us a little history behind this and what we should be doing on April 23rd for Denim Day.
Sure. So in 92, an 18-year-old woman in Italy, her accuser got his case overturned because she was wearing tight jeans, and they said it was consensual because she had to help take the jeans off. So Denim Day is in protest of that.
Wow, okay, so we're gonna wear our jeans on that day. There are also a couple events on the Rock Island Arsenal. Cassie, can you tell us about the Clothesline Project?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. I've been coordinating with them, and the Clothesline Project is really an event that was based on college campuses that has spread obviously to other organizations, but it's about making sure we're spreading the voice and the story of survivors. So what we do is we get a clothesline and we hang up t-shirts, and it's usually survivors have decorated those shirts.
Wow.
And they say either what they've been through, how the assault impacted them, or its allies stating statistics on assault or how we can help people, or just the fact that you're there for people. So it's an awareness promotion as well as storytelling.
Yeah, something very visual for people to really see. So colleges and universities are getting involved with this as well. St. Ambrose University, there's going to be a walk a mile on April 28th. Augustana College is having its own clothesline project. That's going to be on the 22nd. And there's a Take Back the Night rally happening at Augustana on April 27th. And I don't know if that's something that you guys often do, but I would imagine that it's well attended.
Oh, absolutely. I used to work with that campus and would help with that event. And people get really involved. There's a lot of survivors who get to tell their story or their impact. And then you really get to gather as a community to take back the night and to show survivors that they deserve a safe space at night on campus.
Absolutely. Well, before we run out of time with you ladies, I do want to just mention a couple of other ways that people can support survivors through a lot of your community partnerships. We recently had Quartz Botanicals on, and they are doing a plant auction for the month of April. You can go online or go to the store and bid on a plant. 100% of these proceeds are going to Family Resources, which is truly amazing. April 16th, Bad Boys Pizza. If you buy anything at Bad Boys, make sure that you mention Family Resources. 20% of sales from that day, April 16th, mark your calendars, 20% of those proceeds go back to Family Resources. There's all kinds of really cool things going on where you can show your support and help spread awareness. They've got all of that on their Facebook page and on their website. And before we let you ladies go, I just want to remind everybody that you can get help through Family Resources 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We have that main phone number there on your screen, 563-326-6431. Also on your screen are the 24-hour free survivor services crisis lines. All calls are confidential. And if you want to learn more about Family Resources, of course, visit them on the web, famres.org. And we'll make sure we get all of this information on our website as well. Christina and Cassie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For joining us today. Nice job. Coming up in our second half hour of Quad Cities Live, meet the artist behind a popular exhibition underway now at the Figge Art Museum. We'll learn the inspiration behind her work and her creative process. And Ace Waterproofing is back in studio to talk about solutions to hazardous sidewalks and driveways.
And we have lots of clouds out there. Temperatures not too bad for this time of year, certainly a lot cooler than yesterday. No rain out there right now. The storm zone stays well to our south over the next several days. We'll be out tracking some rain for your Friday, and we'll detail that and if it impacts your weekend coming up in your First Alert forecast after the break.
Accurate and reliable. This is your First Alert forecast with meteorologist Kyle Keel.
And speaking of the Everywhere Camera Network, there it is this afternoon, showing a mostly cloudy sky. A couple peaks of sunshine showing up there in Dubuque and Iowa City. Otherwise, it is overcast. Looks like it's going to rain, but no rain, at least for the time being. But those clouds will stick around for a good chunk of the overnight. Might see some partial clearing here prior to sunrise, and then those clouds will quickly thicken. So we'll go from the 50s here this afternoon down to the upper 30s to near 40 degrees. And then we'll jump back to the 50s here tomorrow afternoon with the chance for a few scattered light rain showers as we head into the late afternoon and early evening hours. That will get out of here, though, by the weekend. So the storm zone is well off to our south and east. Look at all these lime green boxes here. Those are flash flood warnings. This is going to be an historic rainfall event here over the next several days. We could be seeing 1.5 feet to close to 2 feet of rain in some locations. Also, you see some yellow boxes popping up. A severe weather outbreak is likely here over the next couple of days. Today, we've got that level 2 to level 3 risk, including parts of southern Illinois, but some of the same areas that got hit with those strong tornadoes in Arkansas last night are going to get hit not only today, but tomorrow and even into Saturday as well. So this is where the severe storm risk stays. Here locally, we are only tracking light rainfall here as we head into Friday. In fact, no severe weather over the next 7 days. So a quiet stretch of weather. I think we've earned it here in the Quad Cities. We'll have those clouds kind of break up here overnight and then quickly move back in early tomorrow morning, maybe early peaks of sun. Otherwise, clouds thicken here into the afternoon with light rain over overspreading the area. This is scattered light rain showers, maybe some periods of drizzle as well. Nothing to really cancel any outdoor events, but just keep in mind that if you have any evening plans tomorrow, we'll have to dodge a few raindrops. Generally about 1/10 of an inch in most areas. Some areas could see up to 1/4 of an inch. And over the next 7 days, you'll notice temperatures be a little cooler than average. Low 50s here this weekend with dry conditions. More sunshine here by early next week, and highs eventually rebound to near 60 by Wednesday.
April showers don't just bring May flowers. Sometimes the winter snow melt and spring rainfall can cause damage to sidewalks, driveways, and patios. Joining us now with solutions to all of that is Adam Ellis from Ace Waterproofing and Basement Solutions. Adam, welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for being here. In the past, there's only been one option, which is mud jacking, but now we have some options, which we will be getting to in just a minute. First, though, what can you tell us about broken or uneven concrete?
So broken and uneven concrete is typically caused by the changing of our seasons.
Okay.
It's going to freeze and expand and then recontract in the spring again. Most moving concrete is caused due to poor subgrade, poor soils, or by water erosion that washes out in there.
Okay.
Other factors that can affect it is just the moisture level of the soil alone. When it's really dry, it actually shrinks and leaves voids, causing settlement. When it gets wet again, it expands and can cause other kinds of movement. So
that's why we're seeing that happen.
Absolutely.
Okay, so once again, we can just blame it on living in the Midwest.
Yep,
Okay,
that's the best way to do it.
Wonderful. So these are things that mud jacking can help with then. Okay, but mud jacking, as we're going to talk about today, is not necessarily the only option. Before we get to that, what is mud jacking?
So mud jacking is typically drilling about a 1-inch hole into areas that we deem are necessary into a failed or settling chunk of concrete. And from there, we're injecting a sand mortar mixture, some bentonite in there to bring the concrete hopefully back to its original position again.
Okay, I understand. There's a new technique though. This is an expandable polyfoam technique?
Yep.
Okay, so this could be an option if mud jacking isn't necessarily the one that you choose to do.
Absolutely. So one thing we like, with our company that we do, we try to not have a one-size-fits-all option. You know, there are times that mud's better than foam, and other times that foam's better than the mud. So the advantage of the foam, it's a little more controllable.
Okay.
And by the time we're done and packed up and out of there, your concrete is ready to use like normal again. It sets up within 15 to 20 minutes versus mud that might be 24 to 48 hours before you can use that again.
All right, got that. Okay, so and we've got a video right now so people can kind of see what we're talking about. But as far as the concrete is concerned, is there ever like a case where the concrete cannot be lifted or leveled, or one of these two options always going to work?
No, there's definitely cases where it can't be. Sometimes the concrete's just too far gone, too thin, too broken up, and in that instance, replacement's typically the best option.
Concrete replacement.
Yep. And that is something we offer as well. We'll go in, try to treat the subgrade or whatever caused the issue to begin with, lay down a new layer of base gravel, compact it, and pour a new slab on top.
Okay, wonderful. And you guys actually have somebody there from ACE that will come out and help people make the right decision, because now we've heard a few options. And you don't have to make the decision by yourself. Somebody's going to help you and give you some advice.
Absolutely. You can reach out anytime if you've got any concrete that's any concern, whether it's a trip hazard, leaning a direction you don't want it to lean. We'll send out a certified foundation specialist to discuss options and present whatever options are available given the circumstances, and hopefully help you make the best and informed decision based on what you are looking to achieve.
Okay, great. So you do not need to be the expert. The expert will come to you and help you make a decision on that. And you kind of already touched on this, but when issues arise with new concrete, so if that is the choice you end up having to make, you can't drive on it for a while.
Nope. Typically 7 to 10 days to resume normal use.
Oh, wow.
So that is a big disadvantage to replacement a lot of times, whereas then the raising or restoration of it is a little better option at times. So.
Okay, great. So let's go over those three options again really quick. So we just got done with a full concrete replacement, but the other two is the mud jacking?
Yep, the mud jacking's typically a little less inexpensive, but poses again, each scenario is a little bit different depending on what you have going on, which is the better option. So it's mud jacking. We can do the polyurethane foam. That's the most convenient. As soon as we're out of there, it's normal use, ready to go.
Use it.
Yep. Or, worst case scenario, it's replacement. And every once in a great while, sometimes it's just a matter of grinding a lip or a trip hazard. That's something we can do very easily as well. If there's no concern of pitch, water going in the wrong direction, it's just one piece stuck up to stow tubber or something, we can grind that right off. That's our quickest, easiest option.
Okay, well, that's perfect. That's good information. I'm glad
glad that you mentioned that. And if you want to learn more about the variety of services offered at Ace Waterproofing and Basement Solutions, just visit them on the web. The website's on your screen. It is acewbs.com. Adam, as always, thank you for the info.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Up next on QCL, a preview of tonight's Thursdays at the Figge Artist Talk with the artist. We'll hear from Louise Camus about her installation currently on view at the museum.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
We have a wonderful resource in the Figge Art Museum, allowing us to check out new exhibitions year-round with pieces created by a multitude of talented artists. But it is not often that we get to meet those artists and hear more about what inspires their work. Well, today is that day as we welcome Louise Camus with an exhibition currently on view at the Figge. Louise, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, well, it's just, I feel like I'm kind of meeting a celebrity here because we've had a couple of instances where we've had different curators on and talking about your work. We've gotten to see your work before on the show, and now you're here, which is amazing. So thank you. So let's talk a little bit about your body of work titled "I Don't See Anything That's Not Beautiful." What inspired this work, and what do you hope that people take away from it?
Okay, great. And it's thank you for the opportunity to talk about the work. So the exhibit at the Figge includes "I Don't See Anything That's Not Beautiful," which is actually a body of 3 different projects. There's a fabric installation, there's a series of 7 drawings, as well as a wall, another wall installation with prayer book pages. And the work was inspired by my taking a walk. I walk regularly, and one of the places I walk is the Mother House grounds, Mount Carmel of the Sisters of Charity of Blessed Virgin Mary in Dubuque, which is a beautiful site overlooking the Mississippi River. And in walking, I noticed that there were small piles of sticks or twigs that were set by the driveway. And it was clear that it wasn't the maintenance crew that had collected them. And then they were there another day, and then they were there another day. And so I really was interested in what this ritual was about. And so I found out in talking to my friends at Mount Carmel that they were piles of sticks that were collected by one of the sisters that lived there. And she would go out every morning and in her walk collect objects and sticks and leaves and twigs from the property and put them in these piles. And it was kind of her way of maintaining the grounds to be beautiful. And then I also learned she was in early stages of dementia. And it was also a ritual for her that was just like walking every morning. And I just found that just very profound.
Yes.
And so I photographed these small piles of sticks and twigs for 2 years. Wow. I didn't know what I was going to do with the project, but I knew it was something, you know, worthy of other people engaging with and worthy of being transformed, the idea of being transformed into art.
Yeah, amazing. And I love the story, and it's nice to hear you tell the story. So your art explores themes like loss and memory. So you've been really drawn to this subject. When people are viewing your art, what types of discussions do you hope that they're having, or do you feel like maybe this will allow them to have some more complex or difficult discussions?
Well, I think I've read many of the comments that viewers have written at the Figge. There's a guest book, and I'm just in awe, just absolutely in awe of the comments that people have made of, you know, relaying stories of friends or family who have dementia and how the work, you know, spoke to them and their experience.
That must be meaningful.
Yeah, it really, it was just really wonderful. And so when an artist makes work like that, and I do make a lot of works that are somewhat, you know, memorial in format or in content, and you never know if you're just dealing with your own grief and whether there will be any kind of reception,
like people identify with it,
from a general public. And I've always been amazed how much people really identify and so offer it as like an entryway for people to deal with their grief.
No, that's great. So do you have a particular piece that is your favorite, or a piece that you resonate most with? I mean, people are going to want to go and see your work now. What's one piece that, you know?
Well, I think the fabric installation, which is the centerpiece of the exhibition, is probably the most emotive work, and it's a work that has 7 panels of silk organza, and then on each of the panels is screen printed a photographic image of one of the stick piles, and I probably took 60 photographs over the 2 years of the different piles of sticks. And so the silk organza is a very translucent fabric, and so when you stand in front of it, and the images are screened sequentially up as if like an ascension, and they fade. They're not as clear, and so they are veiled. That image is called veils, and so they're veiled, not unlike our experiences are with people who have dementia.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, we're seeing images of it on the screen right now as you're talking about it, which is fabulous. And you're going to be speaking tonight at the Figge Art Museum, which is wonderful. Visitors that show up for Thursdays at the Figge, they're going to get the opportunity to hear from Louise. So the installation itself, I don't see anything that's not beautiful. We'll be at the Figge Art Museum only until May 11th. So if you haven't gone to see it yet, make sure you do that in the next month or so. You can hear from Louise tonight at the Figge at 6:30 p.m. But of course, doors open earlier than that. You can mingle, you can check out the exhibition, and for more information, visit FiggeArtMuseum.org. You can also connect with Louise through her website, louisecamus.com. Louise, I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. Still to come on Quad Cities Live, opportunities for kids to showcase their creative side at summer camps throughout the Spotlight Theater. We'll take a look at the exciting shows on the schedule. Plus, in our Throwback Thursday feature, Kyle and I are taking you back 5 years to 2020 and even further than that to 2013. Stick with us.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
Kids in kindergarten through high school have the chance to fine-tune their talents on stage with the Spotlight Theater in Moline.
Yes, there are several upcoming summer camps with exciting opportunities to perform. Here from Spotlight to tell us more is Brent Tubbs. Brent, thanks for being here today.
Absolutely, a pleasure as always.
Oh my gosh, I just love talking to you. I love the outreach that you guys do at Spotlight Theater with young people. It's really great. So yeah, talk a little bit about what kids can expect and what parents can expect when they sign their kids up for these summer opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, the summer camps are always so special for us. Yeah. It's 2 weeks. Each camp is 2 weeks long, and it's just jam-packed full of theater. And so yes, they are putting together a show, and at the end of those 2 weeks, they're putting on an hour-long show, which is incredible in itself. I mean, they walk in day one, they don't know what part they're playing. They don't know any of the music, they don't know anything, and so we cast it that day, and then they dive right in. And it's not even a full 2 weeks. It's Monday through Friday for the 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And by that Friday, it's opening night.
Oh my gosh, that's exciting.
Yeah. So it's a fun surprise for them. So they really hop right into it. So the first one coming up is June 16th through the 28th, and it's the SpongeBob musical. But don't get too excited, kids and parents whose kids might be interested, because this one filled up really quick, but this is where the viewers at home come in, because they can still come watch this.
They can, yes, yes. And we get a lot of people that come just to watch the shows, just because it's so inspiring to see that. But SpongeBob also is an excellent show. It's just
even for adults, right?
Oh yes, we did the full stage version a couple years ago. And the music's incredible, the messaging is incredible. It's just a great show.
Yeah, and that one that filled up really quickly was for 4th graders through 8th graders.
Yes.
And I like kind of how you divide up like the different age groups and stuff. I think that's really cool. One question I had before we move on to the next show is everyone acting in it, or do some kids join and want to do like other things? Like do they do any set design, or do they get to learn any of that stuff?
We kind of touch on it.
Okay, so they can learn about it.
Yeah, and it's so, I mean, it's so involved that they learn about microphone like care, and they learn about costuming and all of that stuff that goes into it. So it's definitely all part of it for sure.
It's well-rounded. Yes. Well, the next show is actually for some older kids, so grades 7 through 12. It's Footloose Youth Edition.
Yes.
So this has got to be a popular one.
Yes, yes.
You would think. I like the music in Footloose. So.
Oh, yeah, it's great. And this show has a bunch of classics, too, like Let's Hear It for the Boys and I Need a Hero and that sort of stuff. So
oh, my
it's
gosh.
like, it's
I
want to
be in it.
Yeah, I know. Hey, you're more than welcome.
Okay.
You're a high schooler at heart, right?
Ask for a senior.
You can be one of those parents saying, don't dance, don't dance.
Yeah, right. I could be one of them. Yeah.
So, you know, as we mentioned, we have things for kids of all ages, or I guess camps for kids of all ages. So the next one is for the younger kids. It's a Disney musical theater camp.
Yes.
This is kindergarten through 3rd grade.
Yes. Now, this one is a little bit abbreviated, so these are only 1 week long.
Okay.
For the obvious reasons, but yeah, we're huge Disney fans, so every day focuses on a different Disney musical, and so they'll learn a song that they do at the end of the camp. So, but then they do crafts during the day and kind of learn about basic theater terminology and stuff like that. So
that has to be so cute.
It is.
I feel like it's because we have little kids right now. Like, and anytime that you see them do anything on stage, like it's like that's so brave and it's just so cute. Like they can do no wrong.
Yes, they can't. They really can't.
I absolutely love that. Like, what a great idea. And I mean, you've been in the theater world for a very long time, and at a young age, I feel like it can really do a lot for a kid to be involved in something like theater.
Well, and that's really what's magical. It's we do say they put on a production. Yes, that's part of it. But what they're getting out of it is so much more than that. And the bonds that these kids form in these 2 weeks is just incredible to see.
Yeah.
And my wife and I, we met at a similar camp with Steppenwolf Theater, and that's where we met and fell in love. So it's we get it. We
awesome.
know that magic that creates for them.
Awesome.
And you mentioned with the younger ones with the Disney, that is actually 2 sessions, 1 week long, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right, good to know.
All right, and for anybody that is in the mood for some incredible musical theater, on top of everything that we talked about, Titanic, the musical, kicks off later this week. So yeah, you're premiering. I mean, this was one of like the most blockbuster movies of all time, and you guys are doing the stage version. So yeah, tell us a little bit about it.
So this is a show unlike anything we've ever done.
Oh, awesome.
It is, the entire theater is used.
Wow.
So where normally we have table seats on the floor, the table seats are actually on stage. And so the audience is on all 4 sides of the theater.
Oh my gosh.
And we have 47 people in the cast.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
They are everywhere. And they're out there the whole show, even during intermission, and they interact with each other, and it's basically like the audience is on the Titanic.
I love this.
Within the whole space, and it's I mean, this week has just, every night it's like a new part gives us chills. It's a very cool, different theater experience, but it is an experience.
Oh, really? you just convinced anybody who was on the fence to go just by talking about that. That's
we get to be immersed into it. So you have a separate Tea on the Titanic before those shows, correct?
Yes, and so that's on our Sundays where people can come in our Blueprint Bar and Lounge, our lobby bar. And people in the cast will be in costume, kind of walking around, mingling with them as well. And then there's a whole tea and dessert type event.
That's fun.
Lots of fun details. My wife was in charge of that one, so I'm sure there's some etiquette thing involved.
Okay.
You learned pinky up, right?
Yeah, pinky up, yep.
Pinky up. All right, so those are on April 6th and April 13th. So if you want more information about all the camps that we talked about, or if you want to purchase tickets to Titanic the Musical, you can visit the SpotlightTheaterQC.com. Brent, as always, thank you so much for joining us. Sounds like a busy spring and summer ahead for
you. It is, yes. Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. Tomorrow on Quad Cities Live, get ready for QC Restaurant Week, celebrating our area's culinary scene. New this year, a digital mobile pass that we'll tell you all about.
Plus, Songbird Lane Antiques will join us with an opportunity for you to shop vintage items, home decor, and more at their upcoming event, Springtime in the Country. That is tomorrow at 3 on Quad Cities Live. Well, it is now time for our Throwback Thursday, something new that we started where we just pick something out from the last
who knows when,
however many years, and we talk about it. So this one I'm excited for you to talk about.
So we're going back 12 years, the year 2013. This kid was still in college, somehow some station in town decided that they were going to give me my first job. So yeah, that was me at one of the other TV stations, getting my kickstart to television weather and the television business. I was reporting back then too, and that's all transitioned over the last 12 years to doing this and to anchoring the news and continuing to do weather. So I'm proud to be on this team. Learned a lot over the last several years. And Morgan, I was telling you earlier this week or last week or something like that, to get this job, I was following the directions on the instructions. They eventually told me that it was an old format of the application, but they said send in a VHS tape. So I had DVDs ready to go to like Wyoming and stuff, but I took one of those DVDs, figured out how to convert it to a VHS, sent it in, and the rest is history.
You followed the instructions perfectly. I remember you when you started because I was here like, I started, this was my first job and 14 years ago. So I remember when Kyle Keel came on the scene. And
we probably covered some of the same stories.
We did. You've always done a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, wonderful job. My throwback takes us back to, this is going to be like trigger warning for a lot of people.
Anytime I hear 2020, I'm like,
April
oh, no.
of 2020. So this was like just weeks after we all kind of locked down, quarantine. So I found these pictures. This is the exact day. Like I've been trying to do that, like the exact day of April 3rd, 2020. And Darby's grandparents, Tom and Lisa, they bought her a playground for our backyard so that she would have something to do. And so
it was a hard thing to figure out what for the kids to do, for you to do.
Jim put the whole thing together, and she was already sliding down the slide before it was even finished, like being constructed. Yeah, those were just some interesting times, and going back. But she was the cutest at that age, so I can't not share. She was very funny. Okay.
Very cute.
Well, that was our Throwback Thursday, and we want to thank you so much for watching Quad Cities Live.
Yes, thank you. And your news at 4 with Sharon coming up next. Have a great evening.